Welcome, and thank you for joining me on my indigo journey. So I don't know how good the audio is going to be because the ocean is right there. But I was exploring this beautiful beach on the Pacific coast, and I found a little waterfall. I found some really cool tide pools. Thank you. And best of all, I found this sea cave, and I thought it would be a wonderful place to get some messages. Here you can see so today we're going to get some messages from your higher self or spirit or God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. We're going to get some messages for you and some guidance. Alright, if you're new to pick a card readings, I'm going to show you 4 options in just a moment on the screen, and you're going to use your intuition, or you're going to meditate on it, or you're going to use a random number generator, whatever you'd like to do to choose one of the 4 options. And then, using the timestamps that I provide in the description box below and in the pinned comment, you go to that reading, and that is your reading. And like I say, today we're looking for messages from our higher self or spirit or God or higher power, and some guidance from them as well. And at the end, I'll also give you an affirmation you maybe want to focus on or meditate on in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I hope that you enjoy. And if you'd like a personal reading, I'll leave a link to my site also in the description box below. But just know that I will never reach out to you to solicit a reading, but I'm always here if you need one. And now, on to the choices.
Hello Group 1, thank you for being here. Just a quick reminder that this is a general reading for the collective, so just take what resonates and applies to you and leave the rest. Now, you chose the spiny murex shell. Seashells in general symbolize a determined, resilient mindset because they're so hard and very protective for whatever life they keep within. The card to summarize your overall message from the higher-ups is the 6 of Cups. This card really has to do with your inner child, so I think you're being called to do shadow work. Your shadow self is the part of you that developed to protect you when you were vulnerable, when you were a child. So the murex shell coupled with the 6 of Cups tells me that your focus should be on this hard exterior that you've crafted for yourself. Because, much like sea creatures who use shells, like the murex shell, it's not serving you anymore, it's too small. You need to expand. Okay, let's get to the reading. we have the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Nine of Wands. Queen of Cups is clarified by the Two of Pentacles and Seven of Wands. The Knight of Cups is clarified by the Chariot and the Lovers. And the Nine of Wands is clarified by the Hierophant and the Emperor. So, with this Queen of Cups, I see that you want to nurture your inner child. You want to do the shadow work to figure out where you're holding yourself back so you can heal and start thriving. But Two of Pentacles says you're not making it a priority. You aren't finding the time for yourself, your work-life balance is off. And by not finding the time, you're showing yourself that other things are more deserving of your time than you are, which is only making things worse. With the Seven of Wands, I also see that you're afraid to do the work. And I get it, shadow work is hard and scary. It's about confronting all the little negative beliefs about the world you've constructed and systematically breaking them down to prove that they're not true. Breaking yourself apart to build yourself up again is a scary process, trust me, I know. Knight of Cups is using your creativity and imagination. Looks like to overcome a challenge in the Chariot. So you may need to think outside of the box for your shadow work. It might not be straightforward for you. So, for example, instead of doing journal prompts to work through a shadow aspect, you may need to do something more creative, like draw or make a scrapbook page or write a short story. Just something that exercises that creative muscle more than simply answering a question might. Either way, the Lovers is an old way of life being sacrificed for a new one, which is almost exactly the basic definition of shadow work. Nine of Wands says to just keep at it. Persevere through the hard times. You might want to look into getting a mentor or a coach to help you with your shadow work if you don't know what to do. And no, I'm not just saying that because I'm a life coach. It can be very helpful to find someone to talk to and help you identify and work through aspects of your shadow. The Emperor and the Hierophant here are suggesting a teacher who is knowledgeable or has authority on the subject might be beneficial for you, especially if you've never done shadow work or aren't sure where to start. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, next we're going to get some guidance on how to heed this message with a few oracle cards. And first we have make necessary sacrifices. Take time for yourself. Make time for yourself. Even if it's just 15 minutes a day after you put your kids to bed, before you lie down to go to sleep, or the time you normally sit spacing out while you eat breakfast in the morning, or during your lunch break at work, on your drive home from work, on your drive to work in the morning. If you really look, you will be able to find the time for yourself, I promise. Make the effort to make time for yourself. You are worth it. No matter how busy you think you are, you can find 15 minutes to half an hour to spare for yourself. You are the most important person in your whole universe, after all. Next, we have metamorphosis. Power and strength lie within our surrender to change. When you make the decision to change for yourself for the better, there is a great power in that. You don't just tell the universe or God or whatever you call it that you want something better. You show them that you think you are worth making sacrifices for. You are worth something better. You are worth making changes for instead of staying the same and stagnant where you've always been. And finally, the unknown. Knowing the unknown. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. The more you embrace the fact that you don't and can't know everything, the easier life will be for you. I get the feeling you might be a little bit of a control freak, Group 1, especially with this card and the Emperor earlier. You like structure and rules and are comfortable when everything follows a routine. Well, you're being called to shake up your routine. Build a new, better routine for yourself, because you're worth the effort. And finally, for your affirmation. Slow progress is still progress. I'm doing the best that I can. Meditate on this. Think about it, revisit it, and remind yourself of it. As Confucius said, it does not matter how slowly you go, so long as you do not stop. Every bit of progress you make on your journey is still progress, no matter how small or how insignificant it may seem in the moment. Thank you for joining me on my journey. I hope I've helped you on yours. If you would like a personal reading, once again, the link is in the description box below. And if you happen to be interested, I'll leave a link to my coaching services as well. And please remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit a reading, but I am always here if you need one. On that note, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Hello, hello. Group 2, thank you for being here. Just a quick reminder that this is a general reading for the collective, so only take what resonates and applies to you and leave the rest. Now, you chose the barnacles. Barnacles are amazing creatures that grab on tight to whatever holds still long enough and doesn't let go. No matter if it's a rock, a ship's hull, a slow-moving sea creature. If it seems stable in the ocean, a barnacle will hold on to it. You'll notice that there are 2 barnacles here, and funny enough, your card to summarize your overall message from the higher-ups is the 2 of Cups, which is 2 forces coming together in partnership, community, collaboration. I really think this is a message about love and partnership, Group 2. That's just the impression I'm getting. Let's see what the cards say. We have the 8 of Swords, the Sun, and the Moon. The 8 of Swords is clarified by the 10 of Swords and the Star. The Sun is clarified by the Tower and the Hanged Man. And the Moon is clarified by Justice and the Emperor. First, let me say yikes, Group 2. I see you are having a hard time. Possibly some dark thoughts and depression, limiting beliefs about being alone forever, and being undesirable. But the Star tells me you should have hope. A connection is there for you. Don't give up on it yet. Joy and happiness and fulfillment are right here with the Sun, but the Tower says that you are terrified of it because it's so different than what you're used to. You're comfortable with the routine you've fallen into. Even if you aren't happy, you know exactly what to expect day in and day out, and that's safe, so you settle for it. But you're being called to let go of that comfortable routine and surrender with the Hanged Man. It's the only way things are going to change. I hate to be the one to tell you, but if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're just going to keep getting the same results. The Moon is a misunderstanding, so the message here is not to have preconceived notions about other people. If you go on a date, for example, and you find the other person very attractive, but you have low self-esteem, so you think there's no way they could be attracted to you, you're just finding a way to disappoint yourself before the other person has a chance. When really you have no idea what the other person is thinking. Heck, they could be thinking you're the most attractive person they've ever seen. Or maybe you're the funniest person they've ever met. Or the most interesting, or a million other things. But if you assume the worst, you will just look for evidence of the worst. Our brains just love to search for evidence to support what they think is true. Justice says that looks aren't everything, so even if you think you aren't attractive, not everyone is so shallow that they won't be able to love you if you're not supermodel material. And anyone who can't isn't worth the space they take up anyway. So just keep an open mind and don't put your defensive walls up and reject yourself before the other person has a chance to see you for who you are. Okay, next we're going to get some guidance on how to heed this message with a few oracle cards. First up is Live Life to the Fullest. Enjoy your life. Be delusional. Since you don't know what other people are thinking, instead of assuming the worst, why not assume the best? It's called the law of assumption, sort of the next step up from the law of attraction and manifestation, if you've heard of that. Basically just deliriously believe that people think you're attractive, or interesting, or smart, or funny, or whatever you want them to think of you. Not from a place of jealousy or insecurity. Truly believe you embody these qualities and do things someone you think would have those qualities would do. Read more books because that's what an intelligent person would do. Paint your nails or get your eyebrows waxed because that's what an attractive person would do. Watch stand-up and practice witty one-liners and comebacks because that's what a funny person would do. Whatever it is, assume you already are that person and take aligned action by doing things you think those kinds of people would do. I can't make these messages up. Look at this next card. False beliefs. Once the untruths we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways we can release the false limitations they can find us to. See? Stop assuming the worst about yourself and assume the best instead. I promise, if you start acting like the kind of person you want to be, pretty soon you'll actually be that kind of person. Perspective. A calm, clear mind is free to see differently. Try and see yourself from the outside looking in. It's hard to have a neutral perspective, but just imagine you're talking to a friend instead of yourself. Would a friend say or think the things about you that you say and think about yourself? I'm going to guess the answer is a resounding no. We are always our worst critics. And because we perceive what we're saying to ourselves as just us talking to ourselves, instead of us talking to a person who's worthy of love and compassion and kindness, we're often much crueler to ourselves than we would ever be to anyone else. But you shouldn't say those things or think those things about yourself either. And finally, we have your affirmation. I release all fear, guilt, and anger. I'm safe, and I am at peace with the process of life. Meditate on this. Think about it. Revisit it. Remind yourself of it. Thank you for joining me on my journey. I hope I've helped you on yours. If you would like a personal reading, once again, the link is in the description box below. And please remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one. On that note, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey Group 3, thank you for being here. Just a quick reminder that this is a general reading for the collective, so just take what resonates and applies to you and leave the rest. Now you chose the coral. Since coral is only able to grow in relatively shallow, warm waters, it is associated with peace and tranquility, and is normally worn to help quiet and calm emotions. Your card to summarize the overall message from the higher-ups is the Ace of Cups, which is a new beginning, usually having to do with love, since cups are the suit of emotions, but not romantic love necessarily. It could be the start of a new passion or a new hobby or interest, something like that you're very emotionally invested in. Let's see what the rest of the cards have to say. You have the King of Cups, the Moon, and the Six of Pentacles. The King of Cups is clarified by the Seven of Cups and the Queen of Cups. The Moon is clarified by the Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups. And the Six of Pentacles is clarified by the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Cups. I see you have a divine pair together here with the King and Queen of Cups, and then a card of opportunities and choices. I think that you're very outgoing and charismatic, Group 3, and you have a lot of friends. A lot of friends that I think could be potential partners or matches for you if you wanted one. I also see you're a very creative person, and you like to spend time doing creative things. I just got an image of someone doing things digitally, like editing pictures or videos to post to social media, maybe photography or scrapbooking or something like that. Something that has to do with taking and using pictures. However, I think you also secretly worry and obsess over the things you do to be creative. Like, photos have to be perfect before you'll post them to social media, or you'll have to frame exactly the right shot when taking a picture, or the page has to be laid out just so if you scrapbook, just as examples. And if it's not perfect, then you convince yourself it's trash and needs to be scrapped and started over from scratch, or never see the light of day on social media. And over here with the Pentacles and Cups, wow. Group 3, these are some powerful emotional fulfillment cards with both the 9 and 10 of Cups. Holy cow. All right, so the Six of Pentacles is about charity and sharing your abundance with others, and these cups are all about emotional wish fulfillment, like I said. So I'm really getting the feeling that you give emotional support to others, and that makes you feel really fulfilled, Group 3. Like you're the friend people come to when they need an ear to listen to them, or they're angry and they need to vent, or they're frustrated and they just need to complain about a situation. Which might be why you have a lot of friends. You enjoy doing that emotional labor for them because it makes you feel helpful and fulfilled that you can do something for them. Okay, next we're going to get some guidance for you on how to proceed with a few oracle cards. First up is admit your vulnerabilities, which I think ties back to the perfectionism I mentioned with your creative pursuits. Stop being so caught up with everything being just so, and post already. Put it out there. Make that scrapbooking page. Take the photo. Imperfection is beautiful, so embrace it. Next, we have broken dreams. Only you can accept or reject your dreams. So I think for some of you, even though you have a lot of friends and a big social circle, you reject yourself before you give others the chance. You keep your friendships surface level, or maybe more accurately, one-sided. You're fine with people pouring their problems out at your feet and listening, but you don't want to do the same to them. You don't share with people the same way other people share with you. But I think you want someone to do that emotional labor for you, even if you don't realize it consciously. However, you're too caught up in not being a burden for other people to even try opening up to them to find someone, or even multiple someones, that you might be able to share your problems with the way that they all share with you. Lastly, we have emotional energy. Emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. When you have emotions, don't suppress them or push them away. They're there for a reason. Experience them. Feel them. Forget what you were taught by your parents or caregivers, that it's not right to show others your emotions. If you're sad, cry. If you're happy, laugh obnoxiously in a silent room. Who cares? I'll tell you who. You do. And you shouldn't. So cut it out. It goes back to sharing with others. No one is ever going to be able to see you if you don't show them who you are. And now we'll see what affirmation is going to be important for you to focus on. Creative energy surges through me and leads me to new and brilliant ideas. Meditate on this. Think about it. Revisit it. Remind yourself of it. Thank you for joining me on my journey. I hope I've helped you on yours. If you'd like a personal reading, once again, the link is in the description box below. And please remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one. On that note, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi there, Group 4. Thank you for being here. Just a quick reminder that this is a general reading for the collective, so only take what resonates and applies to you, and leave the rest. Now, you chose the piece of driftwood. Driftwood represents the need to let go of attachments. It was set adrift in the ocean by winds or storms or other forces of nature, becoming detached from the tree it grew from and wafted through the waves until eventually it washed up on a shore. Your card to summarize your overall message from the higher-ups is the 8 of Swords, which is negative thoughts and mental restrictions. I think you've been feeling stuck, Group 4. Like you're somewhere in life you can't escape from because of attachments that you have. For example, thoughts like, I can't get a new job because the one I have pays okay and is close to my house, so I don't have to use a lot of gas for my commute. Or I can't leave my partner even though they're mean or even abusive because I have no other options. And we've been together for so long already, I may as well stay. Thoughts like these are just examples, but I'm assuming you get what I mean. These things can be about any aspect of your life, of course. Let's see what the rest of the cards have to say. We have the King of Cups, then the 9 of Swords, and the King of Swords. The King of Cups is clarified by the 5 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles. The 9 of Swords is clarified by the 3 of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. And the King of Swords is clarified by the 10 of Pentacles and the King of Wands. Wow, okay, Group 4. So if I had to pick a message that was for me, like my life right now, this would be it. This is my group. I'm right here with you. All right, let me explain. So it looks like we have a warning of sorts, Group 4. Not like in a bad or ominous way, don't get nervous. Let me explain. It looks as though you're someone who likes to look very put together and stable on the outside, and you like to try and control everything in your life, especially financially. However, that's because you're constantly worried about the bottom falling out and not having enough money, or losing all of your money and not getting more back. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of anxiety around money here, especially when you have to work with or interact with other people. I'm getting the impression that you're not naturally very outgoing, Group 4. You're more on the introverted side and you prefer to keep to yourself. With these last 2 kings and the 10 of Pentacles, I think you want to be more outgoing, and you think that if you were, that would be the secret to more financial success. But since that makes you uncomfortable, you may have the limiting belief, subconscious or not, that you can't be more extroverted. So by proxy, you can't be financially successful. That's the warning. Because you worry constantly about money and think that you can't achieve what is necessary to have that financial independence you want, it's like you've invented steps in your mind that you have to fulfill before you can have what you want, but you've also convinced yourself you can't achieve the prerequisites for those steps, so you can never actually have what you want. And the warning is that if you think that way, then you definitely won't be able to have what you want. Our thoughts do create our reality after all. Okay, next we're going to get some guidance on how to heed this warning message with a few oracle cards. First up is Have Faith. This Seems a bit self-explanatory. Can't make these messages up, huh? It ties back to the driftwood you chose at the beginning. You need to let go of that control you exercise over every little detail. Let go of your attachments and have faith that the universe will put opportunities in front of you. Next, we have distorted perceptions. Reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. This is telling you to squash that limiting belief that you need to be anyone or anything else other than exactly who you are in order to get what you want. Reality is sculpted by our thoughts and reactions to situations. And the way you were raised, no matter how it was, is rarely, if ever, the only way to think about the world. There are no rules saying you have to be good at talking to other people or collaborating to be financially successful, just like there are no rules saying you have to wear a certain style of clothing to be attractive. These are all just stories we tell ourselves about the world, and these stories create the rules we perceive the world to work by. And last is trusting tricksters. The trickster's only power is your trust, and you are always free to withdraw it. In this case, the trickster is your own mind, Group 4. Your mind telling you there are certain rules and thresholds you have to meet before you will be able to be successful, or get that job, or buy that car, or get a house, or find that someone special. Whatever it is you've been wanting that you think will make you feel successful, you're trusting those made-up rules your mind has created, and it's tricking you. It's all a trick of the mind if you want to call it that. So stop trusting it. If you stop believing you have to be charismatic and confident to be successful, or you have to be outgoing and sociable to get what you want, then suddenly you won't have to do any of those things. Plenty of people who aren't social or confident have things that you think equal success. I guarantee if you think about it, you can find counterexamples to your belief. People who have a lot of money but are reclusive tech geeks, for example. Or people who aren't conventionally attractive or charismatic, but they have a conventionally attractive spouse or partner. And the more examples you can find of things like this that go against these rules you've created, the more you can start to show yourself that, hey, actually, it's not true that I have to change and become these other things that I'm not just so I can have what I want. And now we'll see what affirmation is going to be important for you to focus on. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. Meditate on this. Think about it, revisit it, and remind yourself of it. I know I'm going to. Thank you for joining me on my journey. I hope I've helped you on yours. If you would like a personal reading, once again, the link is in the description box below. And please remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one. On that note, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.